Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well. We are now months into the coronavirus pandemic. 2020 has proven to be quite the year. Things are not the way we had hoped, not the way we'd expected. I'm sure we all were hoping and wishing that things would be back to normal at this point, but they're not, and it's important for us to make the best of the situation. Right now, there's a lot of work being done to figure out how to stop this spread, how to cure it, vaccinations, all sorts of research that's been done and that's ongoing around the globe, literally. And that's all very good and important work. But we, as Jews, as the inheritors of the Torah, know that we have to look much deeper than that, much deeper than science and medicine. We have to know that this is directly from Hashem, every aspect of it, every element of it, the duration, when it's finally going to end, all of this is in the hands of Hashem. Exactly who will be affected, how they will be affected, it's all in Hashem's control. And we know this. This is very clear to us. We're all believers. The question is, what do you do with that information? Now that we know, and we're sure, that this is all in the control of Hashem, so what do we do? Well, we know that Hashem is trying to send us a message. We don't have prophets anymore to interpret that message, to write it out for us, spell it out in clear and plain. We've got to figure it out on our own. Now that's difficult because we don't know. How are we supposed to know? And Hashem knows that we have no way of knowing. Hashem is well aware of our limitations. Hashem knows that we don't have prophets. And He knows that it's not so easy for us to figure out this message. So what should we do? We need to try something. I spoke about this months ago when this first started, and the idea is clear. We each have to do something that we feel could be helpful. We each have to try to find something that we feel is addressing the issue. There have been many things that have been going on. There's unfortunately, in addition to the medical side of the pandemic, there's also been a lot of emotional problems that have come about because of this. All the social disconnection that we are being forced into for our health and for the health of those around us. And the sense of change, of not being in our comfort zones, is very difficult for a lot of people. And it creates stress, it creates a new challenge that's not even a medical challenge. It's an emotional challenge that we need to remain positive. We need to be looking forward. We need to be able to make the best of the situation that Hashem has given us and not try to ignore it or pretend it's not there and just assume it's going to go away and get better on its own. It's not the way things work. Hashem is sending us a message, and we, each of us as an individual, need to try to figure out what the message is for me. What is the message that I'm supposed to hear? And that's difficult, and the answer is probably going to be different for every person, and that's okay. Because like I said, Hashem knows that we have no way of knowing what the real message is, and if we can at least show that we're trying to get the message, we're trying to figure out what Hashem wants from us, that itself is enough. Then Hashem says, all right, you might have completely missed it, but at least you're making an effort, and I know that you're limited. I know that you can't know what the real message is because I'm not telling you what that real message is. But you're making an effort, you're trying to improve, you're doing something, that you're not simply leaving this in the hands of fate or in the hands of science and medicine. You're doing something that's going to make a difference. So over the course of the months, I'm sure many of others also have been thinking about this and trying to figure out what we can do. And what came to mind was that the Gemara, the Talmud in Tractate Shabbos, tells us that there are certain things that we can do wrong that will bring tsaros chadashos. The Gemara says there are new tsaros, new difficulties, new hardships that come. Tsaros mischadshos ba'olam. The world experiences new difficulties and new hardships. I don't think that anyone can say that this doesn't fit that category. It certainly does fit into that category. And the Gemara says that these tsaris mischadshos, these new novel, shall we call them, hardships and difficulties in life, come from nivul peh. Nivul peh means that we're not careful with our words. We profane our words. That comes in many forms. The the Chofetz Chaim in many places, the Mesilas Yesharim in a number of places, they discuss that nivul peh, the profaning of the mouth, isn't limited to saying words of profanity, although obviously it does include that. But it's talking about all kind of forbidden speech. Speech that is hurtful to others, speech that is negative towards others, and especially words that are not appropriate to be said, being said, or perhaps talking when we shouldn't be talking, or not talking when we are talking maybe also fits into this, but certainly anything that is involving our dibur, our speech, certainly fits into this category. And others have even mentioned that the word for a pandemic or an epidemic in general is dever. Dever is the same letters as the word dibur, which means speech, which there are many early sources that say that whenever there is something of this magnitude, it is a reference to speech, and it's something that we need to improve in the realms of speech. And therefore, I would like to present an initiative, a very simple program that I think we can all take on ourselves, of learning the laws of proper speech. The Chofetz Chaim wrote his famous work, Shmiras HaLashon and Sefer Chofetz Chaim, which delineates what is proper speech in regard to the laws of Lashon Hara and Rechilas, speaking negatively of others. And it's not limited to that. As we've said, the idea of proper speech is when to talk and when not to talk. When is it appropriate to be talking? How is it appropriate to be said when we are supposed to say something? And all of the different things that come in, words of hurt, words that aren't truthful, words that are simply profane, words that we shouldn't be saying. A mouth that speaks words of Torah, a mouth that speaks words of kindness, a mouth that can say the name of Hashem should then go and use vulgar speech. It's not appropriate. It defiles the mouth. The Gemara tells us that one of the great sages said, if it was up to me, I would have created man with two mouths, one to speak words of holiness, and one to take care of the mundane in life. Meaning, the same mouth that speaks words of Torah, that speaks words of prayer, that says the name of Hashem, should then go and talk about business, should then go and talk about sports. The same mouth shouldn't be doing both of those things. It's inappropriate. And therefore he would have made two mouths. And that was for everything that was permissible. How much more so now that we only have one? Hashem deemed it necessary for us to have one. And his wisdom has decided that we need to have one mouth and we need to purify it. We need to keep it holy. And certainly by saying words that should not be said, we are defiling that mouth and that duty that we have to keep our tongues holy. The Zohar says, as the Chofetz Chaim brings, that there is an angel that is in charge of any words that a person says that are inappropriate words. And his job is to take those words, hold on to them, and the next time that person says something of holiness, words of Torah, words of prayer, words of kindness to others, anything that would be a mitzvah word, and he is supposed to take that spirit of impurity that was created by the improper speech and defile the words of holiness. So the very words of Torah, the very words of prayer that we say are losing power. They're becoming defiled because of the things that we said prior. So it is so crucial for us to try our best, to do our part, to keep our mouths pure and holy. This means not speaking anything which isn't true. This means not speaking anything which is hurtful to others. This means not using words that are not appropriate to be used ever. This means not speaking words of Lashon Hara or Rechilas, which is perhaps the worst of all of it. So how do we do all this? That's a very tall order. So the Chofetz Chaim writes that if a person makes an effort in an area of speech, even if he doesn't actually improve his own speech, but the fact that he's making an effort will accomplish. In addition, the more you focus on something, the more it becomes part of who you are. And it will help us defend ourselves against the temptations to speak in ways that we shouldn't. So therefore, I would like to begin a very simple program in which anyone who wants will be able to learn in a very easy and simple format all of the laws of Lashon Hara. And it will be this simple. The Sefer Chofetz Chaim, which has the laws of Lashon Hara and Rechilas in it, has been split up by the Manchester Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Yehuda Zev Segal, of blessed memory, to be finished by learning basically 2 laws a day. It can be finished in 4 months, 3 times a year. And I would like to make a very short recording every day, just reading a translation that I will write of the laws of proper speech, translation basically of the Chofetz Chaim, the daily portion of the Chofetz Chaim. And over the course of the 4 months, we should be able to cover all of the laws of Lashon Hara and Rechilas. I intend to make a WhatsApp group that this will be available on. All comments on there will be closed. There will be nothing on there except the actual recordings of the reading of the laws of Lashon Hara and Rechilas. It's a matter of 1 to 3 minutes a day. That'll be it. It won't be much longer than that, if ever. The very beginning is a little bit longer in his introduction, but after that it's pretty quick. Again, 1 to 3 minutes a day. And this way, anybody can just pick it up when you get the chance, listen to it, and move on. And this way, hopefully, we can all work on finishing the entire book of Chofetz Chaim and improving our speech and improving the value of the words of prayer that we say through this, the words of Torah that we learn through this, the words of kindness that we speak through this. And in merit of all of this, the pandemic should come to an end. Hashem should see that we are making an effort, that we're doing our part, we're trying to do what we can do to get the message from Hashem. And perhaps this is one of the many messages that Hashem is trying to send. In addition, if somebody does not have WhatsApp and they don't wish to get it, it costs, I believe, $1 a year. So if you don't have it, it's a very easy thing to get. I'll be certainly happy to help you set that up if you'd like. But if people are unable to do that or unwilling, I will hopefully create a YouTube channel in which you can subscribe to that YouTube channel. And again, this will be the only thing that's on there is a daily video that will have that day's learning of Chofetz Chaim. And if you subscribe, you will get an email every day that you can simply click on the link that you get in your email, which will bring you right to the day's video. I hope anybody who is interested in this is able to find it a successful endeavor, and I hope that we will be able to use this in our battle against the coronavirus. And thank you all for watching and for listening, and we'll see you when we begin the videos.